as ever. The sun is hot, boy. Are you ready? Ha!
Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I am Raphael and I am here to review episode 7 and the finale of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Refusing to Have Conversations with Their Besties trip. So it's finally the last day of the Ultimate Girls trip and the last episode of the season, and we start off with Kyle doing the walk of shame, but in her case it's more like the walk of pride because she was with her husband, not a complete stranger. So Kyle, she's walking back to the villa, she's greeted with Melissa and Teresa who are playing tennis with Ramona, and they're like, oh wow, Kyle, wow, it must have been really good last night, like it must have been really, really good, like look at you. And Kyle was like, yeah, it was good. I mean, I still have my makeup on, it was good, I had a really nice time with Mauricio. And I'm just looking at her like, Kyle, was it really good? Because, you know, if you do a one-night stand or a nightcap, I'm speaking from a friend's experience, ooh, you know, usually your hair is all fucked up, it's all messy, it's just a mess, you look like you got into a street fight, but you came into the villa like completely fine, like your hair was not touched at all or whatever. So was Mauricio's dick game really that good, or were you just hyping it up? But you know, that's just a small observation. And then Melissa low-key threw some shade at Kyle by saying, oh, Kyle, you look crazy right now. You look ridiculous. I mean, does Mauricio even know of all the products that you put on your face to go to sleep at night? Does he even know that? And if I was Kyle, I would have been like, wait a minute, let me wake up fully. What the fuck are you trying to say, Melissa? that my face isn't natural? What do you mean I need a lot of products to go to sleep at night? Like what? You're saying that I look a mess or something? Like, what are you trying to say? Give me that racket. I'm going to shove it up your ass. So then we see Cynthia in the kitchen talking to the catering because she has a nice little luncheon set up on the beach for the women. So all the women reunite, they all head outside to the table where everything is set up. And Kenya and Cynthia, you could just tell that there's some tension between them. Kenya sits down, she looks annoyed to be there. Cynthia, she looks uncomfortable and unbothered. It's more like the producers forced her to do this event because it just looked like she didn't want to do it at all, you know, and this is her last little event. So, you know, Cynthia is a better person than I am because I would have been like, yeah, no, here's a piece of bread. Everybody could fight for it because I'm not catering anything. I'm just going to be in my room until my airplane leaves later on in the day because no, Cynthia's obviously, she's clocked out of the whole trip. So why even entertain this, you know? But I'm pretty sure that Andy was just like, no, if you want to get paid, you need to do this event. And Kenya was just so rude. Everybody's just sitting down. Nobody's complaining. Everybody's, you know, is getting their food and everything. And Cynthia had made it, you know, apparent that, oh, it's not going to be like a full course meal. It's just going to be a couple of snacks, you know, like appetizers kind of. Something to just fill your stomach in for a couple of hours. Kenya's like, Cynthia, is there a menu? And I'm just like, obviously there's not. I mean, did Cynthia give you a menu? No. And Cynthia, I think she ignored this. She was just like, anyways, can you pass me the food over there? Just give me that one right there. And can you pass me a napkin? And then Kenya, she obviously, she feels ignored. So she's like, Cynthia, Sin, do you, Cynthia, Sin. Okay, Sin, do you have a menu? And Cynthia finally replies to her. And Cynthia's like, no, there's no menu. But again, she replied a little bit too nice because if I was Cynthia, I would have been like, does there look like there's a fucking menu, Kenya? No, right? Okay, so shut the fuck up and let's eat what we have here. Because no, like, and Kenya's like, really? No, I'm just not eating these appetizers. Can I get a veggie burger, please? And some fries on the side? And I'm just like, Kenya, if it was Melissa's event and she did the same setup and the same layout and had appetizers for food, I'm pretty sure that you would not complain whatsoever. But because it's Cynthia, you know, you just want to like get on her nerves. You want to press her buttons. And Cynthia, in her confessional, she's like, you know, I just feel like everything that Kenya's doing, it's really personal. You know, I really try to have respect, but I feel like she has crossed the boundaries. And I just feel like the friendship that I have with Kenya is no longer there. Which is understandable because again, Cynthia, Kenya is showing you her true colors like Cyndi Lauper, but you continue to give her hope that she'll change when in fact it's not gonna happen. Cynthia then announces that she's gonna have her annual Bailey Bowl, which is this thing that she does in Atlanta every other season. And is this the same event that Marlo and Nene were at, where Marlo was running around after Nene and Nene kept running away from her and Marlo just kept calling her names after names after names until Nene got in the car? That's the same event, right? Like it happened at the Bailey Bowl, right? But either way, Cynthia, that's her thing that she's gonna have. The prize to the whole Bailey Bowl thing for the women after they compete, after they eat, is gonna be a 3-day stay at a private villa here in Turks and Caicos, I believe. And I'm like, wow, that's actual good prize. I mean, it's better than RuPaul's Drag Race, their prize money, which is the same every other year, but that's neither here nor there. So The first event is called Diamonds on Ice, and they're gonna have to lick balls basically. Like these popsicle sticks with a diamond inside. And I'm like, is it a real diamond or is it a plastic one? But you know, because if that's the case, I'm just gonna take that, and that should afford me the 3-day stay at the private villa. And then Kyle let something out that I was just looking at her a little bit suspiciously at, because Kyle is like, oh, really? We're gonna have to lick balls? That's interesting. I mean, that's common in Beverly Hills. And I'm like, Kyle, what is that supposed to mean? Would you like to confess something? Like, like, can you imagine Erica Jane licking Tom's balls? Cynthia also throws shade at Kyle by saying, yeah, the women in Atlanta, we play the game a little bit differently. The Bailey Bowl is played a little bit better, but here for this group of women, I'm gonna modify the game just a little bit because I know most of them could be a little bit sensitive. And you know, obviously she's talking about Kyle, you know, from a couple episodes ago when Kyle, she was so sensitive about the questions that was being asked at her game the first night or the second night. And Kyle is like, well, you know, licking balls is better than, you know, asking each other, oh, are we pretty, or who's the prettiest in the group? And I'm like, Kyle, yeah. So Luann is also excited to play this game because she's thinking, oh, licking balls. Wait, are they gonna belong to Michael's? But then Cynthia's like, no, Luann, calm down, relax. It's not Michael's, it's these popsicle sticks. So Luann is like, really? Like, are you sure? Okay, fine, like, I'll just do it later. I'm gonna have to do it privately with Michael. So then Luann, she calms down. And as they all proceed to lick these popsicle sticks with the balls on top of them, I'm like, okay, who's gonna be, you know, the best licker here? And I'm just looking at all the women just lick these balls, and I'm like, is this how y'all keep your husbands? Because I'm like, you know, I don't know, some of the licking and some of the sucking that I was seeing, I was not impressed, but that was just me. You know, a real nasty bitch would have just been all slobble. What Meg Thee Stallion say? Gobble me, swallow me. A real nasty bitch would have just deep throat the whole ball. Like, oh, here's the diamond. Teresa, Melissa, and Kenya, I believe, they end up winning. And Kyle, she starts complaining because Kyle, allegedly, in her eyes, she was the one that got the little diamond first, but she bit into it. And we saw her kind of bit into the little popsicle stick, but maybe it was hard and maybe she didn't intend to do it, but either way, those 3 women got the first points. The second game in Cynthia's Bailey Bowl was a twerk off. They were all gonna have to put these little timers on their waist and shake their ass and twerk the hardest to see who's gonna get the most numbers. So the first group was Melissa, Teresa, and Kenya. And you know, for the most part, okay, all 3 of them did terribly. Kenya, she was doing all right. Melissa, she was doing okay. Teresa, I don't know what she was doing. I mean, she was stiffer than the table that she flipped because I'm not sure what she was doing. I'm like, come on, Teresa, like, you know, put some oil in your back or something. Like, what was that? And what was shocking was that Teresa was the one that actually won between all 3 of them. Kenya, as she was twerking, everything that kept running through my brain was just what Nene said, or was it Phaedra? The whole diaper booty comment. Then the second round was Cynthia, Luann, Kyle, and Ramona. Now, Ramona needed a whole engine repair because I'm not sure what she was doing. She was about to break her neck. She was about to pop out her kneecaps and everything because she was trying her best. And she's like, oh, you know, I don't really like twerking. I don't think twerking is sexy. What is so sexy about shaking your ass? And I'm like, Ramona, it's not sexy because you don't know how to do it. That's why. Everybody else knows how to do it. Everybody else, when they shake their ass or twerking, you know, it is sexy. But you, I don't know what that wasn't even twerking. She was planking at this point because she reminded me of the girl character from Bob's Burger, the one with the blue outfit where she was like, because Ramona was moving like this. Am I doing it correctly, Luann? Am I doing it okay, Cynthia? What do you think? Am I gonna get John? You think John is gonna like my moves? Yeah, you like my twerking, right? Yeah, I like it too. I think John is gonna fall in love with me because look at me. Look how I'm shaking my ass, right? I'm doing it correctly, right? The next game was called Spill the Tea, and all the women had to be in a circle and they had to dig up these cups, and whoever was the first one to actually spill the tea literally won. And Luann was playing the game as if it was do or death. Like, relax, it's not the Hunger Games. Like, she swore she was in a movie with Saw or something. I'm like, relax. Even Kyle was just like, I don't get why she's competing so hard when it's just like, you know, you can afford it too. And I'm just like, Kyle, I think that the reason why Luann was playing so hard is because, you know, it's one thing to spend your own money, but when it's spending your money or somebody else's money, that's a whole different satisfaction. And she probably thought like, okay, this is gonna give me a reason to come back to the island and spend more time with Michael behind his wife's back. So maybe that's why. But Luann, she ends up winning. The next game game is they're gonna play like a game of tug of war. I like Kenya's little callback to Candy from the pillow fight a couple years ago, where she was just like, "Oh, I'm gonna drag you in this bitch," because that's what Candy said to Mallory and to Peter. So I like that little callback. Eventually, it ended up being Kenya versus Melissa. Kenya ends up winning the whole entire Bailey Bowl, and I know Cynthia was just grinding her teeth. She was like, "Come on, I had 6 other options, and Kenya won. Damn it!" So she had to give her the crown. If I was Cynthia, again, because Cynthia was just way better of a woman than I am. Because if I was Cynthia, I would have been like, well, Kenya won. Here's your crown." Anyways, we could go to the next event. I don't care about this anymore. Like, I would have moved on so quickly, but she let Kenya do her whole speech. Kenya looks so beautiful with the crown. It really does suit her. And then she was just like, "Well, I'm gonna dedicate my trip money, or my trip that she got from Cynthia, the 3-day stay at the villa. She's gonna dedicate it to somebody who's so in love, somebody who just found love and just been in a good relationship." So Melissa, she was just thirsting on the side. Melissa was just like, "It's finally gonna be me." She's talking about me and Joe. It's gonna be me and Joe. I'm giving it to Teresa. Wait, what do you mean, Teresa? Melissa was so annoyed. Like, Melissa really thought that it was probably going to be her and Joe coming back to the villa. But, it is what it is. She gave it to Teresa. Teresa was just like, "Oh my God, you're so cute. You're so adorable. Stop it." Like, "Louis, no, cut it out." But, it was a nice little gesture. Eventually, Kenya, Melissa, everybody else, they all go to get cleaned off from all the sand and everything. And we're left with Teresa, Kyle, and Ramona. And they have a nice little conversation. Teresa's opening up to them, and Teresa's like, "It's nice to feel like a sisterhood here, and not like everybody else is coming at me or attacking me and stuff." And again, like I said, we have seen a whole completely softer side to Teresa this entire season. I mean, she has been so mellow and so calm the entire time, as opposed to what we see on the New Jersey Housewives. And she's like, "I'm not used to that on my show." Again, my show. Like, these women love is thinking that they're the producer of their own show, but at the same time, Teresa, you're not squeaky clean either on your show. I mean, you're in the mess as well. It's unfortunate that all the women decide to come at you all the time. And that's one thing about the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I don't think that they can survive without Teresa. I feel like they need to add somebody at Teresa's level or something to keep the show moving without her when eventually Teresa leaves, because it's just, how many more storylines surrounded around Teresa can we have? It's the same thing for Atlanta. Everybody thought that, once Nene leaves, the show is probably going to fall over. And yeah, it kind of did, but it kept going. And I just don't think that New Jersey has the same oomph, that Atlanta could do without Nene. But then Ramona, she starts spilling her heart out, and I actually, felt her in this situation. She was actually relatable here when she was talking about the domestic abuse that her mom had to take when she was younger, and she had to be the oldest out of all her siblings, and see her mom be a bloody mess, and all of that kind of like, not traumatized her, but it did kind of scar her. And that's why when Kenya lashes out on her, that's when she's like, "Oh, I can't take that anymore." It takes her back to that dark spot. And I'm just like, Ramona, you see, I was having sympathy for you when you were talking about it. But then when you try to blame it all on Kenya and so that she takes you to the dark place, no, you take your own self to the dark place. Because somebody, who has experienced everything that you have, you would think that you'd be a little bit more nicer and a little bit more kinder and not push people's buttons or say these ignorant comments. But yet you do it all the time. For 13 years, as the Housewives franchise audience has known you. So this is nothing new. It's not like you're just coming into the world now and you're like, "You know what? I'm just going to push people's button." And then the producers even play the flashback, and you're the one that all kept pushing Kenya's buttons by calling her a bitch on the plane and then telling her to fuck off on the ship. So where is Kenya provoking you? It's not her fault that she has a reaction to your bullshit. So you lost me with that. But Kyle is like, I feel like you should, apologize to Kenya or have a sit down with Kenya and tell her how you feel, especially about the whole John situation and how her and Luann were doing you last night. It was kind of wrong, but Ramona didn't want to admit. I mean, she did admit that she felt some type of way about it, but she doesn't want to admit that to Kenya one-on-one. But I guess it was a nice gesture, and, kudos to her for even having the nerve to have a one-on-one conversation with Kenya. They all head back into the house. They're all packing their stuff because it's finally time to go. It's time to leave the Turks and Caicos, and it's kind of bittersweet seeing them all just pack their stuff because we could tell that it's truly over. The trip has come to an end. Luann, she's in her room, and she's proud that she only packed one bag to come to Turks and Caicos. Michael, he comes in and she's like, "I'm so sorry, babe. Like, I'm leaving, but I'm gonna be back soon, okay? Just don't mind me. I'll be back in like 2 days. Like, I'm just gonna put it on for the cameras right now and I'm gonna pretend like I'm sad. But in 2 days, I'll see you. And make sure that your wife is not fucking here because she called you last night and I know that was her number. It was the 972 number, right? That was her? That was the bitch, right? Okay, so anyways, yeah. Oh, yeah, Michael, I'm leaving. Can I get a trophy? Because look, I only got one suitcase. Like, Luann, sneaky. And then Cynthia, she's packing too. Cynthia, she's in her feelings. She feels some type of way because, you know, she came into this trip with two mindsets. She wanted to have a good time, but Kenya kind of just ruined all of that. And she feels some type of way that her relationship with Kenya is kind of just falling apart. And it's been 7 days and it has not gotten any better. And it's sad because we see the flashback and we see her being nice to her on the plane. Cynthia is just a very good friend. You could call her boring. You could call her this, that, and the third, but she is a good friend. You know, yeah, does she have some rules and does she, you know, let people just walk all over her? Yes, but I think she's a good friend. And she has the qualities that you would want in a good friend because she's very caring. So she goes into Kenya's room because she wants to have a conversation with her about how she's been feeling and how she's been treated by Kenya. And as she goes in there, and Kenya is just rude again because Kenya is just so dismissive of Cynthia's feelings. And I'm like, Kenya, it's just so funny that you are just so open to everybody else on the cast. These women that you don't even know like that. But Cynthia, you have a history of being friends with her for years and doing a whole show with her, but you just want to dismiss her so easily. Why? Because you can. Because Cynthia has allowed that in her friendships with you and Nene. And Cynthia's like, you know, I want to talk to you about certain things. And as soon as she's like, you know, I love you and I just want to talk about my feelings, Kenya was just like, no. Cynthia, stop. I'm not doing this. Like, no, you're doing too much. Get out of my room. I thought it was so disrespectful. She kind of embarrassed Cynthia. If I was Cynthia, I would have felt so embarrassed and humiliated. Like, wow, I'm trying to have a conversation with my so-called friend who I came into this experience with. And here she is just like, no, you could get the door. Cynthia, she's just like, okay, fine. Like, I understand. It's okay. So she leaves. She feels hurt about it. She starts crying. In her confessional, she starts taking one of Candace's napkins that she usually uses and she puts it in her eye and she walks away and she feels disrespected. And again, Cynthia, like I said for the 100th time, just let Kenya go. Everyone starts getting ready for their final dinner here in Turks and Caicos. So, you know, since it's their last night, they have to glam it up even more, or at least Luann does, because Luann, she's gonna perform her song, Money Can't Buy You a Married Man. I mean, Money Can't Buy You Class. You know, the top 5 song that went #1 on the Billboard charts. She's gonna perform that for the group because Kyle, she has been singing it nonstop on this whole trip. So she's gonna surprise the group with a grand performance on the beach when they go to dinner later on. So as they're all getting ready, Teresa, she also calls Louie. So she calls Louie, you know, her fiance, back in Jersey, and she's like, hey Louie, you won't even fucking believe it. You won't even believe what Kenya gave me. Kenya, she gave me her 3-night stay here at the villa. Yeah. She says that I'm her inspiration. Yeah, her inspiration. And I think she's my friend for life. I miss you, Louie. I miss you very much. I can't wait to see the next season of the Housewives of New Jersey with you because you think that you're gonna be the star. Yeah, I can't wait. I miss you. I love you. And it was a cute little moment. You know, it's nice to see Teresa's softer side. You know, something that we really didn't get to see much of with her ex-husband Joe. So it was nice to see her with Louie. Now Louie's intentions, we'll see that very soon next month on the next season. But we shall see how deep is their love. So eventually they all get ready, they all get dressed. They're all heading out to the beach, right, to have their final dinner. And then in the car, it's Kenya, Cynthia in the middle, and then Teresa on the side. And it was just so much tension. I'm like, why would y'all put them next to each other like that? Like, can't Kenya go into the other car? But then again, Ramona's in the other car. So it's a lose-lose situation. And it's just so awkward. It's silence. Kenya, she gets a call from Brooklyn, her daughter. And Cynthia's just like, hey Brooklyn, oh my God, you look so adorable. Did you eat today? Oh, are you having a good time? Do you miss mommy? I miss you so much, sweetie. I can't wait to see you. I'll be back tomorrow. We're gonna go to the park, okay, sweetie? I love you. As they all finally get to the beach, they all sit down at this table to have dinner. And of course, Kenya, she throws a little jab at Cynthia and she's like, oh, wait. I want to sit next to Kyle. But she ends up sitting next to Cynthia and Kyle. So they're all sitting down, they're all relaxing. And then as they're talking, Ramona's like, Kenya, you know, I know this is gonna muster up a lot of courage for me to do, but I want to have a one-on-one conversation with you privately. And I'm just like, okay, Kenya, what are you about to do? Are you gonna reject her like you did Cynthia? And again, disappointed because Kenya agrees to it. And you know, any other situation, I would have been fine with it. Like, okay, go have a conversation with Ramona. If you would have also accepted Cynthia's conversation prior to you getting to the beach, but you rejected Cynthia, but you were so quick to say yes to Ramona, somebody that you slapped a drink out of their hand, who called you a bitch and said to F you, and it's just like, you're still like, oh yeah, let me continue giving her attention and let me go have a conversation with her to try to, you know, rekindle our friendship or whatever friendship is left between me and Ramona. So I was very disappointed in Kenya with that. I'm like, Cynthia has never even called you a name. She never called you a bitch. She did everything in her power to try to satisfy you at the beginning of the trip. And this is how you do her, especially right in front of her. She's right next to you. So that was disappointing. I'm like, Kenya, that was very low down and dirty, like Nene said, of you to do. But Kenya, she goes and has a conversation with Ramona. And Ramona, I would hope that she sincerely means everything that she was saying to Kenya, but we don't know what's going to happen after this whole show. And hopefully, maybe Ramona changes and she sees the error in her ways from this show specifically. And hopefully, Kenya was a big, you know, eye-opening to her, that you can't go around just saying whatever you want to people. But she goes in and she has a conversation with Kenya, and of course she tries to make it about Kenya attacking her, you know, typical. And she was just like, you know, I was just triggered by everything that you were saying to me. And I'm like, Ramona, again, you were the one continuing pushing Kenya's button until Kenya exploded on you. So it's everything that you say has a reaction, you know. So of course, like I said, just because the women in New York are not used to giving you a proper reaction, and Kenya is, now all of a sudden you're like, wait, I feel attacked, I feel this, I feel that, because you're not used to it. And I feel like you need a couple more Kenyas in your life for you to get accustomed to it. Like, you can't just be saying whatever you want to everybody and not expect a certain reaction. Kenya, she's like, you know, I understand what you're saying about your mom and everything. I didn't have that love with my mom, and me and you, we both go out looking for men who don't love us on purpose, and they start relating on that. And I'm just looking at it like, you know, I wish I could look at the conversation in a more sincere way, but it's Ramona. And again, Kenya, you did Cynthia dirty like 20 minutes ago by rejecting her offer to have a conversation about, you know, you both of your friendships. And here you are just having a whole, you know, with Ramona. And I'm just like, I don't know. What do y'all think? Do y'all think it was a sincere conversation? Do y'all think that Kenya did Cynthia dirty by not talking to her, but talking to Ramona, her biggest enemy on the show? And I'm shocked. Like, you must hate Cynthia that much. Or you might not hate, but you might dislike Cynthia that much for you to have a conversation with Ramona, but not Cynthia. I'm flabbergasted. But you know, eventually they end up making up. Ramona's like, you know, I wish I could have a friendship with you. I don't think there's enough time here on this island, but maybe in the future, who knows? They end up hugging. And Kenya's like, you know, I understand Ramona a little bit more. You know, she's not perfect, but you know, maybe in the future we could have something. And I'm just like, the fact that you see a future with Ramona and not Cynthia, that says a lot about you, Kenya. But I still like you, but damn. Like, very disappointing. They go back to the table. Cynthia, she also says what I just said. She was like, wow, I'm actually shocked she has a conversation with Ramona, but not me. So Cynthia, she feels a little, you know, bitter about it. And it's understandable. If I was Cynthia, again, delete, block, as soon as you get back to Atlanta. There's no point in you continuing this friendship with Kenya. Eventually, they all sit down, they have a conversation, they continue talking. Kyle is like, you know, let's talk about the first impressions of each other. Teresa, I actually didn't know you were gonna actually be a softie here on this trip, which again, she was much nicer, much more relaxed, much more tamed. And Teresa actually admits to us that all of the seasons that she's been on in New Jersey, she has not enjoyed filming any of them. And I'm like, that's very shocking in a way, because I will assume that you will find some type of joy. But I guess when you're the main target season after season after season, I guess it could be a little bit tiring. But at some point, Teresa, when is your peace of mind better than the paycheck that Bravo gives you to be filmed on this show for like 6 months and having women constantly attack your peace of mind? Don't you want to be happy with Louie? I'll be shocked if she returns for the following season, like season 13. Like, again, you would think that you would want to just, you know, live happily ever after. You don't need the show, but I guess the paycheck is that good for you to not be at peace. So I guess you give and you take, right? Melissa also, she interjects and she's like, yeah. Teresa, it must have not been hard for you for all these years. And then she starts listing all of Teresa's issues. And I'm like, okay, Melissa, we get it. We understand. We watched the show. Melissa's like, yeah, you know, with Joe, he didn't really love you. And then he got deported. And then your parents, they passed away. And then you went to jail. And then you were scamming a bunch of people out of their money. And then everybody threw a drink on you. It was just ridiculous. And I'm like, Melissa, okay, we get it. And you saw Teresa's face. Teresa was just looking at her like, yeah, thank you, Melissa. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Like, there was no need for Melissa to list out Teresa's issues that she's had on the show. Then Luann, she's like, wait. I need to fix my eyelash. So she goes and she takes off her dress and she puts on her other dress that she's gonna perform in. This beautiful sequin blue dress. I thought it was pretty. And then she has a ponytail, she has a little headset and these money guns. So she goes out and then the music starts playing, Money Can't Buy You Class. And everybody's like, oh, the music is playing, Luann is gonna perform. She starts performing and everybody starts going crazy. They all start dancing around. There's beautiful fireworks. It was just such a nice little touching scene. Probably only because like every time the Housewives end, for me personally, I always get a little bit emotional. It's like, oh, like, I guess this is over. The next show is gonna come, but it's always kind of bittersweet every time the Housewives ends. But it was a cute way to end the show with all of them just dancing around in a circle, just hugging each other, screaming all stars, to the song Money Can't Buy You Class playing in the background. And that was that. And that was that, y'all. That was season 1 of the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. What did y'all think about this entire season overall? Do y'all see a possible future with this franchise specifically? I mean, there's already a season 2, but do y'all see a season 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and so on in the future? I mean, the possible cast each season is endless because there's so many housewives that are current and housewives that used to be on the show that you could choose from. So I see that there's a possible hit with this show, and they probably struck gold with this specific concept because everybody always wondered, oh, how would this housewife interact with this housewife, or how would these housewives interact with these housewives from this city? So I think that they have a possible hit with this show if the cast is done right. But some of my picks will be for season 3 because we already know who's on season 2. Some of my picks for season 3 or season 4 will be either Giselle, Karen, or Candace from Potomac, Heather Dubrow from Orange County. Even though I don't watch Orange County, I know who Heather is, so I feel like she'll probably add something to it. From Salt Lake City, I would like to see Lisa, Meredith, or Mary, or Jen if she's not in jail. Beverly Hills, I would like to see Erica Jane. I would like to see her, interact with some of the women that are not in Beverly Hills and that are not scared of her. From Atlanta, I would like to see Marlo and Sheree. From New Jersey, Jennifer. I would like to see Jennifer and maybe Danielle if they allow her back, but those are just some of my choices. Who would some of your choices be for season 3 or a possible future on the show? But either way, y'all, thank you so much for, just watching all of my videos this season. It has been fun to watch and see all the wives just interact with each other. Again, that typically wouldn't interact with each other on their own perspective show. So that was fun. I like seeing all the dynamics, all the friendships. It was disappointing to see Kenya and Cynthia fall out, but that's life, and it is what it is. That's what happens sometimes. And now Cynthia, she knows how Kenya is with her, so hopefully she moves accordingly moving forward. So with that being said, let me know down in the comments what y'all thought about this whole entire season and what y'all think about possible future cast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and you can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Bye, y'all. Mwah.